A bit more action for you from the busy undercard here. Former British champion up next, Lee Purdy, trying to work his way back into the major title mix after losing his Lonsdale belt to Colin Lynes tonight, making the first defence of his English strap. Taking on Chris Johnson, 31-year-old Lancashire southpaw, gets a huge opportunity here. Here's the best of the action from that one.
Second down, round 1.
10 rounds for the English Welterweight Championship between Lee Purdy in the black and gold shorts and Chris Johnson in just the black. Purdy, the defending champion, he won the title against Adnan Ammar in this very ring back on March the 17th on the undercard of Kell Brook's victory against Matthew Hatton.
I'm always glad to see Lee Purdy on any bill. He's a good, exciting fighter. You know exactly what you're going to get from him. This is a big step up for Chris Johnson. So it's he knows he faces a tougher night than he's ever been asked to face before. So he'll be looking to make use of that southpaw stance. A nice left hand there from Johnson. But this is a good match.
Johnson, a current Central Area Welterweight champion, won that title against William Warburton in October 2010. His last fight was a win over 6 rounds against Peter McDonough, who Purdy himself has fought twice in Blackpool, and then the card of Brian Rose against Max Maxwell at the end of March. And Purdy looking to get to work early. He's very, very rarely, if ever, in a dull fight.
Yeah, Johnson is trying to keep things at range with that southpaw jab, but he's not putting enough snap into it. Purdy's coming right through it and getting his own punches off to the head and the body, that right hand working for him. So Johnson's going to have to find a bit more snap or a bit more movement.
Straight right hand thuds into the gloves, and there is weight behind it, there always has been. That's the punch that has really...
Oh, he was hurt. That's a hurtful body shot there.
Some damage there. Purdy comes in with the right hand, and Johnson at the minute has got nowhere to go. He just can't get away from Lee Purdy. He's all over him and closes in once again.
Some referees would have stepped in there because he turned away, and I don't really think he wants to be in there yet. I think the referee can just call this one off. He's looking at his corner, he's badly hurt. I think maybe even a broken rib. That was a tremendous punch, and the referee really, with the body language, he could have stayed. He stopped it. Yep, good refereeing.
Well, Marcus McDonald waves it off, and that is a very, very good win from Lee Purdy. He just never recovered from the initial body shot. When he got up at the count of 8, he just didn't look happy at all in there. He knew really that he couldn't continue, and the referee knew it as well. And Lee Purdy really has bounced back brilliantly, Jim, hasn't he, since that schooling he had really from Colin Lynes.
Yep, well, unfortunately for Johnson, Purdy was getting too close, and he was getting too close too soon. The southpaw jab wasn't keeping him at bay, and he was moving in with the body shots, the head shots. Really was impressive stuff. Then you saw, as soon as that punch landed, you could see the reaction. I mean, the referee really could have moved in round about then, because you could see this young fella had been knocked right out of the fight. Quite possibly that rib has been broken, and Purdy could feel nothing coming back from Johnson, so that he could just tee off on him, and that's pretty much what he was doing. You know, and you can see that up the shot. He's looked away. That's just taken everything out of him. Nothing a fighter can do with that. That part of the body you cannot toughen up. It's the short rib. When the punch lands there, the damage is done, and that's pretty much the case tonight. That took everything out of Johnson. Terrific performance from Purdy, and it won't be too long before he's back chasing that British title again. Terrific performance from Purdy, but you can see Johnson has nothing left to offer. That body shot has simply taken everything away from him. Wouldn't be surprised, as I've said, if there's damage done there. There he is looking at his corner. Not time to get the young man out of there, and thankfully referee agrees.
Well,
I'm really pleased, you know. It's good to get an early night, but you know, I trained for 10 hard rounds, really hard rounds. If it have withstanded that pressure and the punch power, I'd have been there till the end. You know, I'm always in great shape, and you know, when I catch people, that's what happens.
Effectively, was it all over after that first body shot landed?
Yeah, pretty much, and then like a few of the headshots sort of troubled him, and then I just kept the pressure on, and he didn't want any more.
Do you feel you can walk anyone down like that?
To be fair, on my night, I believe I can. You know, just got to move my feet a little bit more, move my head a little bit more, working behind my jab, and I believe that there's not a welterweight in the country that can stand with me.
What improvements have you made since losing your British title?
Joe, we've been tweaking things all the time, but that night, I'm not taking nothing away from Colin because he fought a fantastic fight that night. But
Colin Lynes.
Yeah, Colin Lynes. Do you know, I weren't quite myself that night, but fair play to Colin. Do you know, I'm younger and I'll come again, definitely.
Promoter Eddie Hearn, what's next for Lee?
Well, he's going to be out on September the 8th again on the Darren Barker bill. We want to try and get that fight with Denton Vassell. It was such a good fight first time around, but he's moving on leaps and bounds, and Lee Purdy's the beast. You know, he's the second best welterweight in the country after Kell Brook, no doubt about that at all. And if we can't get Denton Vassell, with all due respect to the English title, it's been great to help Lee get back on the road. It's time to move on now, and I think we need to move into international fights because he's getting better and better all the time. He's definitely one to look out for.
Answered his critics big time, didn't he?
Yeah, he certainly does. But I mean, there's a couple of fighters out there, Denton Vassell and Colin Lynes, that he's got to try and overcome if he wants to move it on. So there's good opportunities for him. But that was a good performance.
Clinical in the end.
It was good pressure. We just can't use that word of levels. It's domestic level here. It's good pressure. If he wants to really do something, what about a guy that's got some credentials like Junior Witter? Get in there with him and just measure himself, see how good he is. Because Junior's what the fight he was, and hopefully, you know, if he can move on and up, he'll get through.
Is that a fight you'd like to see, Barry?
Yeah, it would be very good for him. I think he's improved, but he's got to improve an awful lot more because Colin Lyons well beat him, and he walks forward. Lee, he's got tremendous courage and strength, and he can bang. But he's got to have more lateral movement, he's got to box more, and he's got to put punches together more. It's just a little bit of improvement, and I think the Witter fight would be a terrific test for him and would bring him on in leaps and bounds.